Right, this is the morning after Stage 8, which was Surrey Hills, Season 3, WTRL. This is Division B1, EMEA West, as I said. So, a couple of standout points. I didn't stream as I normally do last night, but I did record. And I'm really glad I did, because some really interesting points and tactics and use of power-ups that I want to go through as well. It was the usual Zwift start. Actually, I was quite surprised, because it did go out reasonably hard here. Raining in London. Wasn't raining where I am, but it was raining in London. But unfortunately, the race still went ahead. Visibility apparently was good on top of the hills, which was fantastic. But yeah, the typical Zwift start that we normally see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this run through in particular places, and I'm just going to focus and talk on the areas where it was a really interesting thing to happen, because I will say I did get dropped from this race, not once but twice. I got dropped from the lead group, but somehow managed to get myself back. So this is the first climb. This is Fox Hill. And I'll be honest, I struggled. As you can see here, I got dropped. There was 2 or 3 groups further up the road. And as we approach the top here, I'm in around about 30th place with around about 5 riders around me. And there is riders all over the road. At this point, I'm thinking my race is done. It's over. I am not going to get the top 10 finish that I was hoping for in this event. But we get into this descent. We start to pick up a few individual riders, and the group starts to get bigger and bigger. And what you'll see, once we go down the bottom of Fox Hill, we end up with about 15 riders in this group. And you'll see I'm generally just milling around the back. Sometimes I'll head to the front just to check where we are position wise, how many we've got in the group. Plenty of opportunities to super tuck here, so I took every single opportunity. This is descending Box Hill, of course, to super tuck as much as possible to get that recovery. And I can tell you, on Fox Hill, I needed that recovery. So I'm just playing this through at double speed, and you can have a look at the riders around me on the right hand side. The heart rate's come all the way down. I think I was getting up to about 178 beats per minute at the top of that climb, and you can see I've come right the way down now to 120 beats per minute. Now you can see again, we've just picked up a couple of riders, just picked up a teammate there in fact, and I can see on the screen on the top right hand corner that actually there's only one more group ahead of us. So we have about 15 riders in our group, and I know that there's around about 15 riders in the group in front, and we're closing fast. And I'm looking around at the teams and the riders, and I can see Dirt in particular, I think, have 3 riders in this group, and Team NL also have 3 riders in this group. And those 2 teams are the 2 teams that have been battling it out all season, and are sitting first and second, or first and third, I think, in the group. Certainly Team NL, they have a lot to do this evening, because they are desperately trying to get, and rightly so, into the playoff position. So this come back together then. So we've got one big group at the front here, 28, 29 riders. I've got 2 teammates in this group, one of which has picked up some fastest through and first across the line. We then get to the second climb of the day, Leaf Hill. And again, it's blown up. We've got a couple of riders going off the front, and if I look, and again, the top right corner, I can see that riders are strung out behind me. And I know that this is going to happen throughout the race. I know when we get to the top of here, this group is going to be pretty small. I'm feeling a bit better on this climb than I did on Fox Hill. So I'm just trying to stay in the top 10, hold wheels as much as possible, stay in the draft, and not get left alone at any point, because I know it's going to split. So we come over the top. I'm quite happy. I'm in 10th position, 9th position. I picked up a few points. I don't think in the end I did pick up any fastest through, but I certainly got a couple of points of first across the line here. It's not actually the climbs, apart from that first climb, where I had difficulties. The difficulties I had, surprisingly, was on the descents, as we're going to see. I was getting dropped in distance on the descents and having to use my noggin, the brain a little bit, to make sure and to get myself back into the group. So that's fine, no problem. Box Hill, again, the group is still 25 people strong here. Get over the top there. Again, I've picked up a feather, and I've picked up a feather, which I prayed for, on every single opportunity. So I've had 3 feathers to this point. That's the first anvil I've seen in front of me. 3 get popped instantly. Now this is where I get dropped. So we've just done Box Hill. We're descending down the other side. Watch the gaps open up here. How quick has that gap opened up? I was super tucking and now I'm sprinting. I am going hard. 650 watts downhill to try and get myself back into that front group. I'm sitting 20th position at this point. That's a big group in front of me. Riders are still coming past me. I think that was Thompson from Electric Spirit, if I remember rightly. This gap is going out 5, 6, 7 seconds. I can no longer see the big group in front of me on the main screen. I can see the top right hand corner where they are. I'm having to work now through this rolling section to get up to 2 riders which I can see in front of me. That's the first obstacle. Get up to these 2 riders. So we're there. I'm sitting, what, 16th, 18th position. Drop a feather. Let's get across to this main group. I want to draft as much as possible. I'll do anything I can, use a power ability to make sure I'm in the draft. So great. I've got dropped, but I've managed to crawl myself back to the lead group. What I'll often do at this point is I'll try and drift through to the front just to check that this is the lead group. It's not always easy to count the riders, but I'll be checking at this point. Am I definitely in the lead group? Who's up the roads? Where are we on the course? How long we've got left? Always in front of me I've got the DS sheet. My DS sheet is always set to have around about 300 meters before the finish of each section, just so I know when I'm starting my effort. So again, you can see I've been distanced, I've been dropped on Keith Hill. So again, I'm just trying to get onto the back of this rider here. I think this is probably Thompson again from Electric Spirit. I'm always there or thereabouts. But I'm quite happy again because we're just coming over the top of Keith Hill. But I'm still in that 10th position. I'm still picking up some points. I'm not too far away from that first bunch of riders. What I don't want to be ideally is stuck in this no man's land for too long. So now we've got to make some... Look at that again. Anvil dropped. The gap opens up. I've got another feather. And I did pray for a feather. But at this point, I'm wishing I picked up an anvil. So now we're approaching... This is the sort of the final big descent before we get onto the final ascent of Fox Hill here. And I've been gapped. There's a big gap between me and that lead group. I think this goes out to 11 seconds at some point. But there's 3 riders in front of me. It's Thompson, and then we also come up to, I think, a TFC and a Team NL. Now, these guys are both 2nd and 3rd in the league, so I know these guys are going to want to get up to that front group. So, again, just drift to the front. Now, I have to work with these 2 now. They also want to get up to this lead group and maximise their points, but they're also watching each other. So, I need to work with them. I think we maybe 6 or 7 seconds behind this front group, which is about, of course, 7 riders strong. So at this point, I'm sort of beginning to accept my fate. We may never see that front 7 riders again. But I started to realise that we are getting closer. We keep working together. We roll through. I let them roll through, honestly, a little bit more than myself, admittedly. But I'm starting to feel a bit better. I'm actually feeling better now than I did on the first ascent of Fox Hill. And you can see that gap is starting to come down. I'm taking every opportunity to super tuck. So again, I'm constantly checking the times behind. I'm checking the riders' time gaps in front. And I can see we are making gains. We are closing. And I'm guessing at this point that the group in front are saving themselves for this final ascent of Fox Hill, where it is all going to kick off. That's where the major points are going to be picked up first across the line, and also the finish line points as well. So this is, I put a little note in there, let's go, or let's do this. You know, we're approaching that final ascent. More than anything, I'm trying to get myself pumped up, and I'm trying to play a little bit of mind games to say, guys, I'm ready for this. I'm fresher than ever here. So now we can see, top right hand corner, we're on the ascent. It's starting to kick up a little bit, and those green dots are starting to get closer. And now we can start to see the riders. So I see the Team NL rider just push on a little bit. So I just sit here for a little bit, and then you'll notice I will try and skip across to him at some point. I think in the end all three of us end up bridging almost together on this section. I'm not giving him much help to close that gap, am I? And rightly so. So at this point we've got about 5 kilometers to go. Now we know on Fox Hill, that first section, that's the tough part. It then shallows off a little bit before it kicks up again, and then we've got the sort of the flattish section, the flattish sprint section at the top. So again, you can see those riders coming in the distance. And I'm pumped at this point. I'm absolutely psyched at this point because I'm back in the lead group. I've been dropped twice on descents. I've been dropped once on a climb. Yet we're getting back to this lead group. And you think, I'm sitting 9th, so there's 10 riders here. And I'm just hoping that these guys are feeling more fatigued than me. Because weirdly, as I said, I was feeling stronger. We're back. We're back in this group. Let's go. Final climb. So what I've done here is I've just drifted to the front. Just to make sure this is the lead group. Just to double check that there is no one up the road. Am I in the lead group? Yes, I am. Right, let's settle in. For me, this is now all about following the right wheels. Trying to stay with the draft, but trying to stay in that front group. So as you can see, we've just jumped ahead a little bit onto Fox Hill. I'm just trying to stay in this top 5. If there's a bunch of riders somewhere, I'm not bothered. If one rider is up on his own, leave him there. That's fine. What I'm trying to do is stick with 2, 3, 4 riders all the time so I can catch some draft. So 2 kilometers to go, just under 2 kilometers to go. And again, you can see riders have been popped off the bat. So I'm thinking, right, I've got a top 5 here. Yes, my heart rate's up there, 177, 178 beats per minute. Just to be completely honest, at this point, I'm thinking, I know I've not got a sprint in me. All I'm trying to do is to ensure I get a top 5, top 6, whatever it might be, position. I don't feel like I've got a sprint. I'm just trying to hold, because I know, sat with this group, I'm just distancing the riders behind. I'm protecting at least 5th position. So we'll just let this roll through to the finish now. I'll be honest, I actually can't remember who won the race. We'll have a quick look at the end here. So I'm sitting 4th wheel. Again, I'm checking the bar at the bottom. I can see that 2 riders are reasonably close. I'm checking the time gaps behind. So we're into the final 300 meters here. So again, I'm maxed out, 178 beats per minute. I'm trying to catch some recovery there. I'm just trying to desperately hold onto the wheel. I know the gap's safe in front of me. I try and roll through. I perhaps shouldn't have rolled through there. I probably just should have stayed on the wheel a little bit longer. And then, yes, I get done on the line. But to be honest, given the position we were in there, given the fact that I've been dropped 3 times, don't forget, I was quite happy with the 6th place. So that's it. That's my review of the race, the Season 3 EMEA West. Make of that what you will. Really, for me, it shows the real effectiveness of the anvil going downhill as well. I'm about 68 kilograms. So, you know, I guess I could have done with one of those anvils to add at least 10 kilograms to try and keep up with those guys. But it can be done. Utilize the power-ups, utilize the riders around you at the right time to try and close those gaps. If you've got it in the legs, always trying to stay in the biggest group possible and keep in that draft. That's it, guys. See you soon. Thanks for watching. All the best.